So you just received your paycheck and now it's time to party. That sweet green number on your bank account that indicates that you're not gonna become homeless. Not this month, at least. Or are you? You start spending randomly, paying off bills and debts without a steady plan. And by the second week of the month you already feel that knot in your neck, because your bank account is gonna turn to 2 figures very soon. Have you ever felt like that? But buckle up, buddy! Today we're gonna discuss a payday routine that is gonna help you to reach a happier and steadier financial life, so you can smartly allocate your money whenever a check hits your bank account. Hi guys, my name is Giuseppe and I'm a finance graduate, former financial analyst and money nerd. And today we're gonna explore a simple routine that we can follow whenever we get paid, to come back to a place of financial comfort and enjoy life more. If you happen to find this video useful, please leave a like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get started. Step 1. Define your financial baseline. This simply means define what are the expenses that you need to cover to stay afloat every month. And this should exclude the 5 euros avocado toast that you buy every day and should include instead 3 main categories. And these are rent or mortgage payment, groceries, utilities and insurances. Ideally, compared to your income, you want these to be respectively 30%, 10% and 10% maximum. But obviously you do you and you define the ratios that are good for you. You can keep track of these expenses in an income sheet, and I prepared one that you can find in the description down below. If any of these expenses exceed your desired target, it might be time to review this and find a cheaper solution. Maybe if you're renting, you might decide to move to a cheaper place, or to buy more from a discount store, or negotiate your phone contract. It's up to you to find the flow and work on it. After this step, you should be left with something like 50% at least of your income. Step 2. Pay off debt. So the second step is to pay off debts, making minimum payments to keep up your credit scores. While in Italy and in many parts of Europe, a credit score is not a thing, since we are not so used to credit card debt. But for example, this is a thing in UK and in US. And even without credit cards online, it is smart to do this to avoid any penalty. Hopefully, after this step, you are left with a significant part of your income. And this means that your debt situation is not so bad. If so, you can move to the next step. If instead even paying the minimum puts you in a very stressful situation, you might decide to postpone step 3 when you're gonna have a more comfortable debt position and move directly to step 4. Step 3. Having an emergency fund. So the third step should be to save for an emergency fund. And this will save you a lot of stress compared to recurring to debt every time you have an unexpected expense. Ideally, you want at least 3 months of your basic expenses covered. So 3 times your financial baseline discussed in step 1. You might also consider to increase your financial baseline for this computation by 25%, just to be safer. The amount you have to save for this fund can range a lot based on your profession. For example, it's less likely for a public employee to be fired compared to a private employee. And also there are some industries that have higher turnovers compared to others. Or who knows, you might also be self-employed. Consider a minimum of 3 months up until 12 months and pick your position based on what you do. Also in Europe, if you lose your job, we also have social amortizers. But I will still not rely on that and prefer having something for myself to have more peace of mind. I mean, remember, you wanna build your financial position like a fortress. The emergency fund should be kept on a separated deposit account, over which you can gain some interest while keeping it liquid. So an account in which your money mature a yield without any lockup period. These money are needed for emergencies, so do not lock them up for any period. I personally use Trade Republic, that it is a bank, so you're insured up until 100,000 euros and gives you per year 3.75% of interest over your deposits. You can find a link down in the description, and if you create an account, we both get free shares. How cool is that? Step 4. Pay off debt aggressively. Now, imagine your financial position as a spectrum. In the center there is a person who has 0 net worth, so no asset and no debt. On the left side we have a person that has negative net worth, so more debt than assets. And on the right side we have people that instead have a positive net worth, so more assets than that. Understand where you start from in this spectrum and work toward the right side. You can understand where you position yourself by listing all your assets and liabilities in a spreadsheet. And I prepared one that you can find in the description. Now this also means that if you have debt outstanding, you wanna pay more than the minimum to attract the principal. You have to understand that if you make minimum payments, It might be that you're never gonna be able to repay your debt in full, because on some debt balances, the interest rate might be so high that if you pay the minimum, you're just gonna keep paying the interest indefinitely without ever attacking the principal. Or simply the plan of amortization can take ages. Let's make an example then. Let's say that I want to buy a new car and I want to use credit cards. I do not even know if this is possible to do, but let's assume it is. Now I have 10,000 euros of credit card debt with an interest rate of 12% per year. What does it mean? It means that I have to pay 10,000 euros times 12% per year, just in interest to the credit card company. So it means that I have to pay 100 euros per month of interest alone. From here, three things can happen. I can behave like a responsible person and pay off more than the interest, such as 500 euros per month. In this way, I'm paying off 100 euros of interest and 400 euros per month of principal. And I will keep paying 500 euros per month until the principal is extinguished. The second option is that I do not behave like a responsible person and I pay off just the interest. So 100 euros per month. What happens in this case is that every year I keep paying interest over the principal. Since I'm not putting a dent into the principal, I will keep paying 100 euros per month for the rest of my life. Not really a nice place to be, for sure. And finally, I can act like a reckless idiot and stop paying completely. In this case, the interest will accumulate. And the principal next year is gonna be the principal of this year plus this year's interest. So 11,200 euros. And over this sum, I will still have to pay 12%, meaning that I'm gonna have a monthly payment of just interest of 112 euros. So notice the trend. If you pay just the interest, you will keep paying for the rest of your life. If you pay less than the interest, you will drown in debt. This is because the compounded interest works at your advantage when you're investing, but works against you when you're in debt. When it comes to paying outstanding debt, there are two schools of thought. The avalanche method, that is paying off the debt with the highest interest first. That is a mathematical based method in which you pay overall less money, because you're gonna attack the balance that is bleeding the most amount of money first. The problem with this method is that sometimes it forces you to attack balances that are very high, and that can take a ton of time to extinguish. So you get discouraged very easily. That is why many people prefer the snowball method. That is simply paying off the debt with the lowest balances first. In this way, you can unlock new availability of cash every time you extinguish a balance, and this gives you more firepower to attack the next debt. This is a method that has a much higher percentage of success, and I can clearly imagine the rush of dopamine when you extinguish a balance. Step 5. Tax advantageous investment accounts. Now, depending on the legislation you are in, there might be several tax advantageous investment accounts. These can be, for example, the 401k, the Roth IRA for US. In UK there is instead the workplace pension or the ISAs. In Australia there are the superannuations, and in Canada there are the RRSPs. In Italy we have pension funds that are tax advantageous, but they are managed by insurances. And so the allocation might be so conservative that it might not be worth over the long run, since you're gonna miss out a lot of returns. In Italy they also tried to launch the PIRs some years ago, that are Piani Individuali di Risparmio. They were tax advantageous if you had invested into small Italian companies. Some people made them and they just exited the investment as soon as they had the opportunity to take advantage of the tax break, since returns were not there. Oh, silly Italian Minister of Finances. So yeah, you guys in US and UK are very lucky. This is why you should take advantage of that first, especially if you have 401k matches, since that's gonna be basically free money. But either way, wherever you live, make your own research on this and understand if there is any kind of tax advantageous investment account you can put your money first. Also understand if you have free asset allocation over that, because if instead you are forced to allocate your money to local companies, it might not be worth in the long run anyway. So yeah, make your own research. Step 6. Investing in yourself. As I said in another video, I think it's very important to invest in yourself every month, and I personally have the goal of allocating at least 5% of my income there. Usually, if you work in sales or product, it makes sense to upskill yourself, because in this job line, more skill means that you can probably make more money. And you can do that by hiring a coach or buying a course. In some cases, investing in yourself might also mean freeing up more time from your schedule to have the opportunity to spend time learning the skill you need. In this case, you might decide to outsource some of your activities, such as cooking or taking care of your house. to freeing up your schedule. With all the due respect, but if you instead you have a job such as customer service, for example, or a support role in general, the return in upskilling yourself is probably gonna be lower, and you probably have less control over your income. So in that case, it might make more sense to try to move into sales or product. You can find all my suggestions in a video in which I explain how I would invest my first 1000 euros. And finally, step 7. Invest in a taxable brokerage account. These are accounts where you have free choice of how to allocate your assets, so you can be more flexible and take more risk by investing in different stocks and ETFs. The problem in these is that you're gonna pay taxes over your capital gain, so consult your local laws of your local financial advisor. So here you have it, the 7 steps you have to take whenever you get paid to live a better financial life. With this, you will be able to exit from debt, save for an emergency fund, advance professionally, secure your pension, and grow your wealth. So guys, as always, thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video, and so please leave a like and subscribe. And you might also be interested in how would I invest my first 1000 euro, and you can find it here. Bye!